What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lynee Monae, and you are watching the Elevation Podcast with myself and my girl, Christine.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Good
Yes,
to see
and
everyone.
so this podcast is really going to be all about mental health, and we're going to talk pretty candidly about some topics, and we would love to hear from you. So let's jump right into it.
Yes, so today's topic is around relationships. We are going to start with discussing boundaries, but healthy boundaries,
Yes,
right? And what
yes.
does that look like? So, Lynee, I'll ask you, what are healthy boundaries to you?
Whew, girl, it took me a long time to get here. It took me so long to get here just because it's like at first I was just setting boundaries because I didn't want to be bothered, right?
Yeah.
I would have too much on my plate. I wasn't prioritizing my time or like things I needed to do, right? And so when somebody would want me to do something or needed me for something, it would come off as just like no.
Right. Nothing healthy about it.
Exactly,
Just
like a
yeah.
no, and would get so angry. Like, don't you see I have so much to do? Why would you even
Yeah.
ask me? And they don't know I have so
Right.
much to do. Nobody can read your mind. So for me, healthy boundaries looks like talking about it and just saying, right now, I just don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
Maybe if I get some free time, I'll let you know. You know, things
Right.
like that. Just being softer in my
Yeah.
words and
Right.
just like letting people know I have a lot going on, but I still appreciate you and still want to be there for you,
Right.
but I
To the
can't right
exact-
now.
Exactly.
You know?
So what I hear you saying is just communication, right?
Yes.
Appropriate communication, because it's okay to have a boundary,
Mm-hmm.
but in a way that is not offensive to
Yes.
the person that's just asking you to do something. Because, like you said, they don't know all that you have going on.
Thank you.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, I agree with
Exactly.
you. So just establishing it kind of early on in relationships, establishing what those boundaries look like for you. It's different for each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I can definitely relate to having a lot on your plate and then just like thinking about doing one more thing. Just might be that straw. Right?
That broke the camel's back. I'm telling you, like,
Yeah.
it's like that one thing. You're like, I can't take on another thing. And it's just in that moment, somebody will call you and be like, hey, and even if it's just like, hey, can you meet me for dinner? It's like, girl, I ain't ate all day.
Right. Don't you know?
Thank you.
So that's one thing. So communication. What else are some ways to create healthy boundaries? Consistency, probably.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Yeah.
kind of showing up the same way in relationships.
I like that. Like, what do you mean by that, though?
So I would say if it's a no this time for whatever reason, or if someone's doing something or something that just not isn't acceptable to you. I'm trying to think of a thing. Showing up late to dinner, right? If you have a friend that's maybe consistently late for dinner. Let's say the reservation's at 6 and
Yeah.
she's known to show up at 6:45.
I have a friend like that, yes.
Do we wait to eat, or are we eating, or just keeping it consistent?
Yeah, I'm going to eat. Because
Right,
why
you're
you
not gonna
always
wait.
late? You're not hungry. That's what
Right.
that means.
Yeah. Right. So
But yeah.
I think just being consistent with whatever the boundary that you set forth in your relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another example of
Setting healthy boundaries. I know. Why is this like trumping us a little
Yeah,
bit? Do we
yeah.
not have healthy boundaries?
I want to say it in a way that's politically correct. So I'm thinking of friends. So taking on other people's like stuff, right? Because we obviously friendships, it's
That's
give
a
and take,
really
right?
good one.
But for me, because my day is so full of communicating with people, like sometimes I might not like take the call right
Then and there.
but I'm gonna get back to you.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like what you said earlier. There's gonna be a time for it. It just might not be right then.
Absolutely.
But,
And
yeah.
also just like going back to what you're talking about is taking on so much of other people's problems. I mean, you work in mental health, so I know
Yeah.
you do this all day, but you also have those people in your life who call you to dump, like
Right.
trauma dump, like I just offload on you completely, or you have those family members, friends, whatever. And if you're doing that all day, knowing when you had enough, when you're not able to, because I'm gonna tell you now that starts to play a toll on your own like emotions and how you're interacting with people throughout the rest of the day. You know, knowing when like, okay, I just don't have the capacity to take on anymore. Like I empathize with you. I understand you're going through
Right.
something, but you have no idea how much this is actually taking a toll on on my own emotions. Like I'm starting to feel like I can't all the way be there for you because every time I talk to you, you're trauma dumping on me or like offloading on me. Like, and that causes rifts in like relationships too. Because now when you call my phone, I'm not answering it. You're like, why is she avoiding me? Why she not
coming with the stuff?
Thank you.
And I can't right now.
Okay, and I can't right now. Seriously. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think we gotta know when to tell people and be honest about like the boundaries in friendships, relationships, or just overall. Like, it's cool to let me know what's going on with you, but like sometimes it's okay to ask me what's wrong with me, what's going on with me, check in with me, like getting on the phone and just being like, you ain't gonna believe
Right.
and not once asking me how my day was. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
And then how about if you do get a chance to like tell your friend what's going on with you, but then they relate it back to there's just like a bigger thing that happened.
Girl, that drives me crazy.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like explaining yourself to your friend, talking about what you're going through, and then them turning everything you say into what they're going through, and like you said, making it bigger than yours. So now you like, now your thing feels so small when it's really not. Your emotions and your feelings are your feelings, and nobody can tell you how big or small they are. Not in comparison. None of this is in comparison, but they make you feel like it is because now they got this whole elaborate situation, and it's like, should I be paying more attention to you? You really seem like you're going through something, you know? So yeah, I think also calling people out on that too. How do you feel about that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think in those relationships, like just taking a moment to say, hey, I can appreciate what's going on with you, but I was coming to you with what was happening with me. I really needed to talk about that. And I need you to be there for me as my friend, not to dismiss what you're going through, but you know, can we circle it back?
Yeah, like can we dial it back a little bit? Because I was over here, now you over there.
Right,
so
okay.
Yeah,
in those valuable relationships, people that we really care about and love and appreciate, I think it is okay to be candid, like you were saying earlier, with them about it. And if the relationship is really what we think it is, they're gonna take that, apply it, and make some changes.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my next question is, how do you create positive relationships when you're feeling negative? How does one do that? Is that can you do that?
Can you create positive relationships when you're feeling negative? I think that it is very much a challenge.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard to do so because you're not even in the right headspace to even come positively to someone. Right. You know what I mean? The only way, I've been in work environments that I've had to kind of put whatever I was dealing with on the back burner, go in there, do my job, show up in totality as myself and still put a best face forward. And that's not always easy, but it's needed in the work environment. But I don't know. Like, what do you think?
So let me ask you. So I think that it is a difficult task. And I think more and more people are finding it hard to really connect with people in a good way when they themselves are not in a good place mentally, right?
Absolutely.
And these days, people are coming to work with like their
baggage,
stuff.
and don't care. They letting it out on whoever answer the door.
And so thankfully, at least in our organization, we're down to talk about it. Let's come on in. Let's sit down. Let's process so we can get back out there and serve the community. But in a lot of places, it's probably not as tolerated, right? No. You have to just leave it at the door, come in. But I think it's increasingly difficult. So I think it's important that people do the work on themselves to try to get in a better place, whatever that thing is that's bothering you.
So being like self-aware. Yeah. There's a level of self-awareness that kind of comes with this because we were talking and it's like, well, how do you even know that you're in a negative place? You know, like if you've been around negativity your whole life or, you're kind of, that's your makeup. That's who you are. You know what I'm saying? Then how do you know that you're coming from a negative place or that you're actually the negative person in the room?
Exactly.
Like, how do you identify that? Without self-awareness? You need to have some level of self-awareness.
And I definitely think read the room and get around people who you see are doing good things, are behaving in a way that you may admire, and kind of get their advice and do a check-in. Because sometimes you are not self-aware and you don't even see that you're coming in the room and knocking all the stuff on the ground emotionally with people around you. But you need those people who have your back to let you know, and seeing that those people are also in a good place, because birds of a feather flock together. Right? So sometimes negativity breeds negativity.
So true.
Right?
So
we
true.
have to connect with people who are kind of in different spaces and places to
get new experiences. Absolutely. And doing the work. Like, once you are privy to information, then you got to do the work. You have to do the work. I personally do think you should be around positive people, but if it's too far, I do think maybe working on yourself first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that you can really take advantage of these environments, because like the last thing you want to do is go around these positive people and then drain them of their energy. You know what I mean? And you taking from them, you know, like they're pouring into you, they're giving to you, and you're kind of just taking. And the thing about like healthy relationships is where you guys can pour into each other. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be on one side or the other side where you're a receiver, you take, or you're a giver and you're just over exuding yourself to someone because they're so drained.
Let me ask you this though. So in relationships, do you think that there is a time for things to be kind of uneven?
Yeah.
Right? Like there may be a time where you might need more.
Absolutely.
Or someone else may need more, and you have to be that kind of bigger person. So
1,000%. Yeah. Life is lifing, honey. Okay. Yeah. Life ain't never gonna stop lifing.
Right. Exactly.
So like your life might be lifing in one season and my life might be lifing in another season.
That's it.
Okay. Right. And we both gotta, like, you know, it's gonna do a little teeter, and that's okay. But if I'm always like this is where it's the problem. Girl, if I'm stuck like this,
you always on the downside.
You hear me? Yeah, right. I got a problem with that. Okay, honey, we gonna have to figure this out. But yeah, absolutely, 1,000%.
I agree. I understand. Yeah, I can definitely agree. And I will also add to that you know, like you said, life, it has ups and downs. But again, for those people that we love and care about, we're going to support them in the down and see them on the ups, right? Yeah, definitely. I agree. You got it. Okay. So how do you be intentional when looking for a relationship? How do you look past kind of like the rep that may come,
the representative? Yeah. I think you have to start asking intentional questions, you guys. Like, we got to get past what's your favorite color. Don't nobody care. Wear what you want, like what you like, okay? We got to start asking intentional questions. Now, when I say intentional questions, I know somebody like, and this is exactly why I be asking how many kids you got, how many baby mothers you got, you want to get married. That's not, save that for maybe the third date.
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe not on the first date, pop out. Okay? Sometimes you got to pop out and show. Okay? You don't got to do that on the first date. Okay?
Right.
But at this, you know, just get to know the person and just ask them some things about their morals. Just about like maybe what's some hobbies you have, or what's some things that like give you ambition, or what's your driving force to continue to live life? Like, you know, things that what wakes you up in the morning and has you excited about starting your day, like things like that, just so you can see, like, is this person lazy? Do they have drive?
What time do you get up?
What time do you get up? Because if it's 2 p.m.,
right,
I've been up for 5 hours now.
Right,
like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? What do you do in your spare time? What's important to you? What's your relationship with your mom and your dad and your family? Like, these are questions that's not invasive, because the last thing you want to do is put people under attack because you got to go and you want a timer. Women know we are on a timer. I want to have kids by this time. I want to get married by this time. This is my second time maybe getting out of a divorce. I don't know your story, but I'm just saying, don't put all that pressure on someone you're meeting for the first time.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault, girl. Thank you.
Give it a sec. I completely agree with that. And the actions, right? Because those questions are super important on the, you know, like you said, by the third date, the next one. But how is he showing up? You know, is he doing what he says he's going to do, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So I think the action behind hearing the answers that you want to hear is really, really important. And I don't think we should wear a mask in relationships. I think we show up, you know, put your best foot forward for real. but you definitely want to be your authentic self.
1,000%.
Because I've learned just personally, you can try to kind of fit into someone else's like mold and box of what they think beauty is or body size, clothing, but if it's not really you.
I have a question. So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Where men, right, feel like you're not, and not everybody, because I know it's gonna be somebody in the comments. I don't do okay. I'm not talking to you.
Not you.
Exactly. Like, okay, I'm not talking to you. That's fine. But for everyone else, right, who feel like women who show up with wigs, makeup. So I'm a walking representation right now. Use me as an example, okay? But women who show up with wigs, with makeup on, I'm assuming dressed a certain way, are not being their authentic self. They feel as though they are showing up as fake or as a facade. Do you agree with that?
So again, I'm not a male. I'm not a male.
Right.
So you'd have to get like the male perspective on that. You know what I mean? For me, I'm wearing makeup now myself. I don't normally do it, like maybe sometimes for events, for this type of stuff when it's lights around.
Right, it's a lot of lights.
I've been coached up that I want to wear makeup in these instances. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It really, if that's you, it's you, right? So I'm the last person to judge what someone else does. I know what works for me. I'm a natural girl, natural hair, and I don't wear makeup. But I'm not everybody's type of girl either. But for my husband, that is his preference, and it works for me.
I love that
as well, right? So it really just depends, and I definitely would ask the males. I think that women want a lot from men. They have all this kind of criteria, but are you asking them, like, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you like? And it might not even matter, because do your thing. If the makeup and the hair is your thing, you're going to find somebody and someone's going to find you that thinks it's the bomb.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's true.
You know?
And I think that's the thing is, like, are we talking about, because when we talk about mask, I wonder if that's what people identify as a mask as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what? Okay, so we were talking about we got to do a clip with the red balloon show.
Yes.
One of the guys on there was like that. He was like, no too much makeup, no too much makeup. And
I saw that.
The girl just had lashes on. She was like, but it's just lashes. He said, well, I don't like it. Because he was catfished.
Oh, she looked completely different.
Without it, a totally different person. Have you guys ever seen I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker?
I have.
And you take the limbs off. I think some people maybe have a fear. I don't know though. Again, we got to get the man's perspective. I don't know, but I don't feel that way because I'm not dating a woman with makeup. Right. So, I just know what works for me.
Right.
And mine. And I think no matter what, like just showing up as who you feel is your authentic self, someone's going to accept that.
Yeah.
Makeup or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't wear makeup. I love wigs now.
Yeah.
Okay. The wigs go nowhere. I don't care who it is. Okay. The wigs stay.
Okay. At night too. And
No. Girl, the wig go. I'm not sleeping at all with the wig. Yeah.
Then.
You really get to see me at night. The wig and the body go on, you know? But like, I don't wear makeup all the time.
Right.
You know? So I do wear my bare face. But if I'm going on a date for the first time, even the second time, if I'm dating someone and we're going out on a night on the town, like, yeah, I'm going to put my wig and my makeup on.
Right.
You know? And so I think that part is like, for me, when I think of mask, I'm thinking, because people can be so literal. That's why I said that. Right.
Yeah,
but
when the makeup mask, is
thank
the
you.
hair? Yeah.
But when I'm thinking mask, I'm thinking you not being true to yourself and not putting your actual personality forward. Not so much about your physical appearance. People get very caught up in the physical appearance of things and be like, well, you had on makeup, you had on wig. But no, I feel like I'm talking about your real personality, like who you are, who you are. Yourself. Are you answering these questions authentically, or are you just trying to say what you think I want to hear? You know, and then later on down the line, I'm thinking I'm dating one person, and you really never was like that. Okay, maybe I'm an animal lover or something like that. You realize that I love cats and dogs, and they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
No. It's not actually happening.
It's not happening. That was false. But But on the
You may be
real,
allergic to them, actually.
you know
right?
what I mean? You might
Like
be allergic to them,
yes.
but now I got cats and
Right.
dogs in my house, and I'm inviting you over so
Yeah.
we can have fun with the cats and dogs.
Right.
And you hate it here.
Yeah.
You literally hate it here, but you did this to get closer to me.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That was a very shallow kind of example in a way.
No, but yes.
But in reality, like not being truthful up front and kind of just like really wanting that person to like you or feeling like you got to say things to be accepted. Like that's what I'm talking about, the mask.
Now, let me ask you this. How do women wear masks? Like, how do, like, just an example of what a woman trying to date, like, how does she wear a mask? What would that look like for a young lady dating? What would...
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
What would that
we
look
got
like?
it down for the guys, but
I
for
know.
us ladies, like, what does it look like? Oh, okay. I have one, right?
All right,
okay,
what?
I can tell you. This is me being very vulnerable and open. I'm a married woman, but when we were dating, I think he asked me like what size dress I was. We met online, right?
Right.
And I'm like a 6, and he was like, okay, yeah. We didn't meet yet, but maybe by like the 3rd, 4th, he was like, you're not. It's good.
It's fine though, but
I'm like, okay, well, this one dress I had was a 6. It was
not
stretchy,
the one dress.
but he's right? So maybe something like that. Maybe not being truthful about weight, size, and height. I don't know.
I think I think what else is like. I hear people talk a lot about like how many people you've slept with.
Okay. Yeah.
And like men act like they want that real number, but
Really
let's be for
subtract
real.
at least whatever.
Right. But they will ask you that, even like your age. Like women don't like to say how old they are either. And like men will ask. Like, or maybe what do you do for a living? And some women may feel like they would like to be further along in their career, or maybe not really want to disclose exactly like what they do. How many kids do you have? Or not even kids. How many baby fathers do you have?
And you think people are shy about disclosing that?
I think so. I think in certain instances, if somebody doesn't ask you in the right way, you can get defensive. You can get upset. You could feel judged because these may be things that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with. And so now a stranger is asking you to speak it out loud. How old are you? How many baby fathers do you have? You know, how many kids you got? And it's like, who you talking to?
Information to know.
Is it important? Is it important?
Information.
Yes, in certain instances, yes. Like, I think these are valid questions, but I think we got to know there's a time and place to ask these things. And there's a certain way because this is sensitive information.
Absolutely.
You can't just let that shoot the breeze. Like, you can't just ask in that way.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if this person's going to get offended. Even, is that your real hair?
Right.
You know, can I touch it? Why you want to touch? You
Yeah.
don't even want nobody to touch your hair.
right.
I'm sure you did a lot to get that. That twist out. That takes time. You never want somebody raking their gnarled fingers through your hair and giving you an afro on the first day.
Exactly.
Like,
that would set it off for me.
Thank you. Exactly. But I think these sensitive like questions need to be handled more delicately. It's okay to ask them. It's how you ask the question.
Right. I can agree with that. And I want people to be confident with whatever decisions they've made for their life. Even if you do have multiple kids, multiple, this is you, this is how you're coming.
Yes.
Somebody's going to love it.
Yes.
Right? So I don't want people to be ashamed of like their choices because everybody has a past.
1,000%.
Right? We've
1,000%.
made decisions that maybe in hindsight we would have made it a different decision, but it is what it is.
Right.
So be firm and be strong and be confident in your decisions, everyone. So
And stop treating dudes like they are ATM ladies. Like we gotta stop. You gonna pay my bills? You gonna pay my life?
You know,
you literally like I'm out of this. I don't even have to do this anymore.
What
Jealous,
they be doing?
girl. Okay, I pray for the day.
It's coming, girl.
But we must stop treating men like ATMs. Like we have to stop doing that because it's shying them away and making them feel like that's the only thing that you want. You are meeting them and asking them like, you gonna pay for my mortgage, you gonna pay for my rent, you gonna pay my bills, you gonna do this. And y'all gotta get a little bit more. Y'all don't got no finesse. Y'all don't got no swag. You
know how to get
you know what I'm saying? You don't got no
asking.
je ne sais quoi. Like, what's going on?
Oh my.
You need a little. That's not how you do it. Y'all, it's a way to do that and get what you want without being so abrasive. Like, you don't have to make people feel like they need to pay for stuff in order to be with you. You can get that stuff if you just had a little bit more swag on you. But I'm just saying, stop treating them like they ATMs. And also, like, you as women don't have to pay for a man either. Like, there are things that can be done. You guys can share the responsibility of payment if you're open to that. But I think that we got to start, like, just being a little bit more careful with how we treating people, because the money thing is getting out of hand. Yeah.
And I think it goes back to,
I don't want nobody broke though. Sorry. Go ahead, Chrissy.
We're gonna address it. We're gonna talk about it here on Elevation. Listen, it goes back to having people around you, right? So if you have a friend who's maybe using someone for dinner dates, because I know that happens too, right? Don't get past the first date. Or they're coming about the mortgage or the bills. Like, let's use our good friends to tell us, like, hey, you know, you might want to go about that differently. Way, right?
Yeah. Unless they know what's up. If they know what's up, do your thing.
Yeah.
But if you really are looking at this person as a potential candidate, someone you actually want to be with for real, let's treat them like they're actually human beings and like you guys actually have some chemistry. Because if all we could talk about is money, then there's no substance here.
Right, because we have sons at home.
Yeah.
So, we'll be advising them to choose wisely, you know, because at the end of the day, I think relationships are really about building together. It's not what you can do for me, what I can do for you. What can we accomplish
together? As a team? Yeah,
I think that's really important.
Agreed.
So, yep. Let's see. So, choosing your person daily. So I'll talk about that. So in relationships, and you know, we'll keep it with the significant other, boyfriend, husband, whatever. It's not all ups, right? So it's ups, it's downs, it's sideways, it's backwards, it's back, and there are ups, right? But it can go either way, just depending on the day, depending on someone's mood, depending on the situation. Yeah. And you guys, whoever doesn't know, we live in the Washington, D.C. metro area, right? Everything is so fast-paced, and the cost of living is extremely high. So I think all of us have a lot of different pressures on us in this area. Not to say that it doesn't happen in other parts of the country, but it's especially high here.
Yeah.
The cost of living is high. So a lot of different things going on. And that said, you have to make sure that, again, you're focused on common goals when emotions, moods, circumstances get in the way, because people are under just a lot of stress.
Yes.
Individually, collectively. I mean, there's family stress. God forbid, some people have children at home who are ill, or you know, they have lost a job, maybe at the same time. But you still
or it could be seasonal. Like you want to. So when I do date people, I like to date them for a year. Now I'm not saying that's the whole thing.
Tell me about that.
Because in different seasons, people show up in different ways.
Okay.
So I've dated someone who had seasonal depression. Right. Didn't know.
Yeah.
Met him in spring. Was great.
He was good.
Through the summer, amazing. Fall came, the winter came, super depressed. Absolutely. Super sad. Yeah. Had lost a parent, something traumatic had happened. And so the person that I was dating over the spring and the summer was drastically different in the fall and the winter. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so you don't know until you've been with that person for at least a year to see, do the seasons play a part? Has something happened? Right. Like, will you still like them even though they're going through something and they can't show up for you in the way that they used to? So I think also the seasons play a huge part, and traumatic events also play a huge part.
Absolutely. So my question to you is, throughout that, you date them a year to see if they have seasonal
depression. I want to say, you got seasonal depression or what?
And if they do, then what are we doing? Are we working through it? Are we trying to get out and, you know, go do paint and sip, or
I'm going to show up.
Walk? Okay.
I'm going to show up because if I know how you really are, I know this is not really you. I know you're going through a hard time, and I know this is where you need me to kind of show up the most. You've been showing up all this time as who you are, been looking out for me and everything, but this is just something that you're dealing with that you don't really got control over. I'm gonna show up and try to help you through it. Right. So that's what I did.
Think that's great.
Yeah.
And then knowing that it's something you can plan for, right? If we know that it's coming this season, let's create a plan around it. That happens to a lot of people, guys. Yes. Because the sun what goes down really
Earlier.
early, right? It gets dark, it's rainy, it's cloudy. I don't know how, I love you people in Seattle, but
Right.
I need some sunshine, but that
Right.
happens more than you think. And then the holidays bring
The
on different feelings.
holidays.
New Year's. So people go through a lot around this time of
So
year.
true.
You're absolutely right.
So true.
And
So how do
plan
you
for it.
choose the person being married every day?
Yeah, I focus on our goals together. I focus on who I know he is, right? So the good far outweighs the bad. The pro and con list. The pro is heavy.
Yeah.
Few cons. Nobody's perfect, but I focus on the goals. I focus on the family and him because he's a great guy.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, but so that's what I think about. I always think
Nice.
about the good qualities, and I think about what we've done together. Think about the children, our moms. We had a whole thing going on. And God forbid, I don't know what it would take, but, we're going to work through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most cases.
Yeah.
We'll work through it. I do have my boundaries.
I know that's right.
Just everyday life stuff, like just being compassionate and understanding. And he puts in effort. We both do every day.
Put in effort.
That's it, daily.
I think that's
It's
the
a daily
key thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
put in the effort. Like, that's the key thing.
Yeah.
Like, both of y'all putting in effort every day and knowing that at the end of the day, the goal is to still be together.
Yeah.
Because I think what happens is that over time, people stop putting in effort. I know that sounds like the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
But when you realistically think about it, even failed relationships or marriages, the issue was that somebody kind of like
gave up. Right?
exactly. Somebody was kind of like, you know what?
I'm out.
Kind of over this. You
Yeah,
know, this is
I'm
I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
so
And
yeah.
I want to add that like relationships are doing, it's like one big compromise sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? Do I want to sometimes be doing things that it's stretching me a little bit far, especially maybe after a long day? If it's going to make him happy, I'm motivated to do it.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
You really have to be focused
Are
on.
you good? Because
Like,
if
you
I had a
gotta
long
be-
day, I had a long
But we both have had the long day, right?
Yeah,
So there may be times where he's accommodating me and then times I'm accommodating him. But I feel like I get so many benefits that I'm going
Ooh.
to do what I need to, what do you need?
I love that.
Yeah. So you got to, it's a mutual thing. It's not
Yeah.
one-sided at all. But
I love that.
so yeah, it has to be worth it. And at the same time, I heard one time relationships are never 50-50. It's 100 and 100. Right? So
Wait,
don't
so
always
like,
look for your part, but just give, and then naturally it kind of just comes back around. Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my first time hearing that.
Yeah.
100, and
Yeah,
just
your all.
give,
Yeah.
and it'll just come back around to you.
And don't count it. You know what I mean? Don't count it. Don't keep
That was a gem. Kristen, you dropping gems on them.
yeah. Don't keep track, right? Yeah. So give it your
I
all
like that.
every day. And in most cases it's gonna be
Yeah.
okay. Now if you're dealing with someone that has like major like maybe issues with, I don't know, addiction or who
That's
knows,
tough.
right? That's a little bit more challenging
Yeah,
to deal with.
that is.
Yeah,
That is.
but people
How do you believe that people in those situations should remain?
And like if they're with someone who's addicted,
Yeah,
to something,
yeah.
it really
And can't really
depends.
show up for them in any of the ways that we're kind of talking about.
I know someone that's been married for probably close to 20 years. His husband has been an addict like the whole time, but they have children, and he's been like in and out of rehabs, and she's stayed steadfast there, for the sake of the children,
Yeah.
the family. But that can also be a double-edged sword.
That's
Is
what
that
I'm
healthy to see
saying.
your kids?
Is it
I also know
healthy?
another person, I think they were married for probably 25 years, and she decided to finally file for divorce because he'd be gone like for days and then come back. And so it really, each person knows their family.
Yeah, it's
it really
different.
depends. I can never tell anyone like definitely yes, leave someone or stay.
Yeah.
It really depends.
Yeah.
That said, if you have children watching, you want to set the best
Example
possible for your
Yes,
children. Yeah.
agreed. And I think that's the best advice. Is
Yeah.
like realistically, just I'm not saying leave or stay, but when you take a step back and come out of the house, look at the house. is it what's the best choice for
Yeah.
your family overall?
Right.
You know, what are they experiencing? What are they seeing? And is it okay or is it not okay?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you want your kids to see? What do you want them to choose?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it's their time to find a mate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really our responsibility.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So, what can I ask next? Social media and relationships.
Ooh,
Yeah.
social media and relationships. Child, this pop the balloon is ruining all relationships.
Oh my gosh.
The pop the balloon is ruining everything for everybody. But no, for real. I think social media can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to tell you this, for example. If I seen you and your husband on there and talking, just because you guys have such a healthy relationship, I think that's a healthy like influence on just relationships in general, right? But the thing about social media is that it's not really real. You know, people only going to show you the best parts of, well, some people, because some people out here showing you the worst parts too.
Right.
But you never get an in between. You always get like the worst or like the best parts of someone's relationship or something like that. But I feel like, you know, watching something like you having positive influences could affect my relationship in a positive way.
Right.
But then you could see things like someone buying someone all these roses or taking them on all these trips
Love
or
bombing.
love bombing them completely.
Right.
And you don't even realize that it's love bombing. And all you can do is criticize your person about why they don't do all these things for you. You see this happening for someone else. Why you don't take me to go do this? Why you don't, or not even know, even if you don't respond that way, not realizing that being informed with that type of information can subconsciously affect your relationship because you're not saying anything, but you paying attention now to what they not doing.
Right.
You know, you done took your focus off of everything that they do. And now you like, where my flowers at?
That's
Where my
passive
Birkin at?
aggressive people. Yeah. That's
Come on, diagnose it. Diagnose it.
Yeah. And I want to add that comparison is a killer.
Yeah.
Right? Don't compare yourself to anybody else, whether it's body, whatever it is, employment, relationships. Each one of us has our own path. That's a killer.
1,000%.
I think it happens a lot when you're younger, probably like 20s and early 30s maybe. I don't know, because I kind of vaguely remember that happening with me. Like all my friends and people around me were getting married, right? And I'm like, well, it's my turn.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It just wasn't.
But because it was what was happening around me, I felt like, well, me too.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work that way because each relationship, each person, each path is different.
So true.
So comparing, which is difficult to do when you're constantly looking at social media.
Yeah,
right?
come off of social media and touch some grass.
20 minutes later.
All right, y'all. So we just had to take a quick little break. Okay, nothing too crazy. But like I was saying, go outside and touch some grass. And that takes you away from reality. Like when you're on social media, you drift away from reality. Now you're paying attention to things that's probably just not even real. People are doing for views and likes, okay? So they're going to show you whatever they're going to show you for views and like. It's not real. So you have to spend time with your person. But what I was about to ask you is, so how do you feel about people like excessively liking other people's pictures or like commenting?
What do the pictures look like? Like, what are they? Flowers?
Girl,
Are
booty,
they...
booty rocking. It's like, no, I'm
for
playing.
me.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
Yeah. Anything like that, no.
Yeah, I feel like, 'cause it's like, come on now. No, you're doing too much.
You can look without liking.
Thank you.
Right?
That's, oh my God, no, Christopher. Because liking it is doing too. You
It's
can look
way too
without
much.
liking.
You want her to know you're looking?
Exactly. You want
Right.
and then comment. It's crazy.
That's a no.
Like,
that's a relationship boundary for me.
no.
Yeah.
But if it's
I'm
like
not
a
having
friend, family, whatever, like nobody's tripping off of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it comes to a certain type of explicit pictures or maybe somebody is very revealing.
Yeah.
And you liking all types of pictures. It's
Yeah.
like people may call it shallow, but I'm just paying attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We want to still bring focus to that.
Yeah.
Don't be trying to say I'm insecure
Right.
because you like it. Like, you being insecure. Nah, you ain't going to play me like that.
No.
Thank you.
That's called
So,
deflecting.
thank
when
you.
someone does that. Let's get back on task.
Exactly.
What we were discussing, not me. We're talking about you.
Exactly.
So yeah, no for me. Absolutely not. What about so the liking? So we're saying no to that. For me, it's a no. Commenting, no. It just Yeah, if it's anything explicit.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Like, and even if I just, so is this shallow where I see you liking a certain girl's pictures all the time? She's not explicit. She don't have her, you know what I mean? She just, but you specifically like this girl photos all the time.
Where are we in our relationship?
I mean, we're together. So, I mean.
No.
Yeah.
For me, no.
Yeah, I feel that. But I'm like trying to make sure I'm not tripping.
But no, because what's the point?
Why are you always liking everything? Like, it's just like you said, you can look without liking, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all don't got no swag. Y'all
Question for you. Okay, female friendships. When you're with your man, you have a boyfriend, right? How do you feel about relationships of the opposite?
I don't feel.
We're not feeling.
And I have talked about this on my other podcast where my co-host has a lot of male friends.
Okay.
Like a lot of male friends. I don't have any. So I
really?
can't know because of my experience with having male friendships.
It's not really a friendship,
it's
is it?
Never.
You're trying to figure out when you can, right?
Thank you. And that's been my experience. That hasn't been her experience, so I can't speak on her behalf. Right. But for me, anytime I've ever had a male friend, somewhere down the line, they expose their hand. Like immediately they get too drunk one night. Yeah. We hanging out a little too long, and now you done got you back and get your hand from around me. Right?
Yeah.
So they always expose their hands. I've never had any genuine males who just wanted to be my friend.
And biologically, honestly, I don't think it's really possible because men and women, I mean, if there's an attraction or even if there's not, men biologically, they have that thing where they just know when a woman's around and no. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's
just, unless we're cousins.
Yeah, no, and I know some people have grown up. You know, I don't want to take it away from y'all who really do have male friends. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's a thing. But also, it's like, okay, y'all grew up together. Y'all hang out all the time. You don't ever think that it crossed his mind. Like, it's just weird to me that you don't ever think it's crossed his man. You just friend zoned him. You don't realize how you put that man in the friend zone, and now he has to compete with whether to be your friend or never be your friend again when this information comes out.
Right.
It's, you know?
I really think people kind of play the naive role, but I do think that as women, like, we already know. Like, 9 times out of 10, at least they want to. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I mean, they're not just.
Absolutely.
Maybe they are friends, but there's something extra there.
It is. Yeah. And I wish I wasn't exposed to, like, males that I've dated and their girlfriend, best friend, that's what we'll call her, best friend. Mm-hmm. And she throws shade to me the first time I ever meet her. Don't know her, never seen her. And it's always just this, like, you know, like fakey kind of like, okay, I guess I'll be nice to you because he dating you. And I think that all of that energy is unwarranted. Some of y'all may be like, oh, well, you know, maybe she sent something. She could send something, but it's his decision to still talk to me or not. It's not up to you. You know, we have friends to bring things to our attention, but being obnoxious and rude to someone off of first meeting them is unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. Like, where are you? You don't know me.
Exactly.
What are you giving? And so that type of tension that I've been exposed to just never makes me feel like having the opposite sex friends is okay. It just don't.
I agree. I'm totally with you. Mm-hmm. And so definitely no to liking comments. And so this was a relationship boundary. I'll go back to that because Clay and I, husband's name is Clay, we agreed to that really early on. That if there were any kind of lingering friends, so to speak, that we take a step back completely. Blocking, whatever, not even really telling the people in some cases. It's just
it is what it is. Yeah, that's where you guys, your focus was on each other.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And building something for each other and getting to know each other. And sometimes too much outside noise can distract you from what you really want. Right. You guys are grown. You can make your own decision. If it's a red flag, I'm sure one of y'all would have walked away, right?
Exactly.
You know? So like just not allowing too much influence when you have your eye on something.
Yeah. Absolutely. You got to make the choices for yourself.
1,000%.
And live with them, for sure. Paying attention to actions. Inconsistency versus consistency. Considerate versus inconsiderate.
Now that's both taking a deep breath. Like, I think that is a huge pet peeve for me.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
people say they're going to do something and then don't do it and it happens repetitively, like one time, okay, I guess, you know what I mean? But when that becomes like your MO, like telling me you're going to do something, or like I love acts of service, like, oh, I got it for you, and just like not following through.
They don't really got it.
They don't really got it for me. Like,
yeah.
that is such a pet peeve. I do not like when people don't follow through.
Yeah, it depletes any trust that you have with them, because chances are, if you're following through in this area, it's going to translate to other things.
Absolutely.
That you're not going to be able to maybe pay the bill on time if we had a house together.
Thank you.
Or
And
show up to
then, and also acting like you didn't say you was going to do that, right?
Yeah.
That part. Also gaslighting me in a way where
it's
like you told me you was going to do something and then you don't do it, but you never say anything. You don't call me and say, hey, I was unable to do it. I'm sorry. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like you literally just go on with the rest of the day talking to me like you never said that. That burns me
Let me
up.
ask you a question. Now, what if he's drop dead gorgeous, right? What if he's gorgeous?
I don't even like drop dead gorgeous. Trying to look
He's
better than me.
consistent.
You think you better than me?
Okay. What if he's consistent and unattractive?
Give me the scenario one more time.
Because back to the show we mentioned earlier,
Yes.
the balloon, right? I saw some guys just on some of the episodes. They seem like they would be consistent guys, but they might not be
As attractive.
The 6'6", the 6 feet, the 6 pack, the 6 figures. Right?
Oh, I never heard of the 6'6". I like that.
He might be 5'8" and a half, right? He may be working a $35,000 a year job. And he may be 15 pounds overweight.
How you gonna bust out? Christine gonna bust out laughing.
Yeah, so but he's consistent. He's consistent. He's stable. He's steady. What are we doing in that case?
Put him in a friend zone.
Okay, he's a friend.
He's a friend.
He's a friend.
A good friend at that.
Because he's consistent.
He is. He's consistently a good friend.
We're gonna talk more about that. Yeah,
Christine, it's not even that. It's like I don't mind because the thing is I don't even like really attractive guys.
Okay.
So that's not a thing. The whole
Okay.
super attractive is not. I'm not really attracted to those type of men.
Things. So what is it that attracts
I think
you?
average is cool. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But below average,
Yeah.
I can't.
What average height is 5'8"?
No, I'm talking about looks. We're right at the looks.
Okay. And with like the facial.
Yeah, like I'm cool with average. Like I'm
Okay.
straight. It's just I can't do below average. I think that
who's the determinant?
me.
Okay,
I'm the determining
Is
factor.
the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
So that's just like a no. I also don't really date short men because they're insecure.
Okay.
And they got Napoleon complex. They feisty.
be trying
They
to be
like
big,
Chihuahua.
but
They
they small.
like I don't need all that feisty. You too feisty for
Right.
me. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
So like I'm 5'7".
Okay.
I would prefer at least 5'11".
Uh-huh.
Okay, like that's it. But I'm not even judging you off of that totality. Now, if I put heels on, that's up to you to deal with.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that if I have heels on, they be asking me like, "Do you have to wear heels this time?"
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, why I gotta stop being me?
You
It just
don't.
feel
Yeah,
like
that's
you
not
know.
the one.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's
Yeah.
like if they did make me feel like this thing was a problem, then I wouldn't have added it to the list of issues.
That's someone projecting their insecurities onto you.
Exactly.
Right?
And so now I can't wear heels or you feel insecure around me, and certain things like that. So I did make the height thing a requirement because when they are tall, they don't care.
Now, are we painting everyone with the same? What if you meet a 5'7" that's like, girl, wear your heels. I like my women tall. And he's consistent.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was cool. We was together.
There
Yeah.
you go.
He was
See?
straight.
It can
Yeah.
happen. It
He
can
was
happen.
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's the, I don't know if that's
That
the,
might not be
right.
the
I don't
move,
know
right?
if that's the move, but if it pop up on me, sometimes you got to pop out and show,
Exactly.
okay? Just show me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't
Just
know
show
what the
me.
Lord has in mind, right? So we just want to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
But I think the consistency is the most important thing. I do think it's good to have your standards. Everyone, as far as looks go, to some degree, but in the end, we're all gonna age, and it's not gonna be in the same place it was in 10 years. But what's the character of the man?
I'm gonna let y'all know that Christine and her husband is a very attractive couple.
Aw,
She's over here
you're
trying
so-
it. She is
That was
trying it.
just by chance.
No, Christine is over here
did not
trying
plan
it.
it.
The
Yeah.
both of them are very attractive people.
Look at the previous, okay? It was,
look at my previous.
that was just by chance. Yes. Yeah. That's so funny. I love that. Is it greener on the other side?
Ooh.
So you're in your relationship, you have your man, but maybe you are looking at things on social media or listening to girlfriends who are maybe doing some things that you might not be doing with their man. Does it pique your interest to maybe see if you can get that from someone? If you're with someone, they're not taking the trips and they're not buying the bags or whatever the thing is that people do to keep.
I don't think that really interests me. And maybe because I'm in a position to just do it myself.
Yeah.
I'm not dating someone because of what they can
do for you.
Yeah, that's just not where my mind is. Of course, like I said, I don't want to date nobody that's broke. I've already done my community service hours in the past. I don't need to go back and do them. But,
no homosexuals. I had one of those ones.
Exactly.
You have a place to stay.
You know what?
Yeah.
No, seriously, I have already done my community service hours.
Yeah.
So I'm not going back that way. I do want someone that is stable. Stability is very, very, very important to me for yourself. And if we can make something happen, that's cool. But I'm in a position where I can do a lot of things for myself.
Yes.
So having an authentic and real connection is super important.
Right.
And the grass green on the other side just seems so superficial.
Right.
I just want to make sure that I'm not going to the other side because of false pretenses. I want to make sure if that's what I want to do, it's because something authentic, genuine, and real is over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we heard someone say earlier, the grass is greener where you water it.
Come
right?
on.
So whatever you nurture, take care of, pour into, it's going to be pretty green.
Yeah. With the right person, just make sure you are picking a person that's right for you and you're not picking a person that's right for your friend. You get what I'm saying?
Do people do that? Tell me about that.
Because I'm thinking if you're saying you see your friend with somebody, you see she going on the trips, you see da-da-da-da, but is that you? Are you trying to be your friend or are you trying to be you? Because we need to figure out what you want and not what your friend want.
Your authentic self.
Yeah.
What's for you? Right.
And stop trying to do what she doing because that might not even be your speed.
Right.
You have no clue what comes with women in these situations. Okay, I've been on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Where I've talked to men who have paid for everything. I'm going to tell you something. And you can edit it out or leave it in, okay? You can do your thing with that. All right. But I have been on the opposite side where I've dated men who paid for everything, bought me things. Guess what? He was a scammer. Went to jail. Imagine if I really got caught up in that situation and I really relied on this scammer to take care of me the way that he was doing. And I wasn't being smart because I still paid my rent. I put that money right in my pocket when he gave it to me. I didn't pay the rent. I didn't do none of that. But imagine if that's what I was relying on and this person went to jail. And now what am I? You don't know what really comes with taking all of these gifts or going on all of these trips. You don't know people's track record. You don't know if he under investigation and now you with him and you guilty by association. Now you caught up in something.
Right.
I'm not saying that's everybody's story, but it is some people's story. It's mine.
Exactly.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then think about kind of the emotional toll sometimes that relationship takes on. Like some people who feel like they take care of the person, they're paying for everything, they feel entitled to be able to do other
whatever
things,
they want.
Right? I'm taking care of the house. I actually, again, know somebody in that situation. Mother of two. I think they live in a 7,000 square foot house, but he's a cheater. He has an entire girlfriend.
Wow.
Who he bought a car and has an apartment with.
Wow.
Right? But you wouldn't know that just on the outside looking in. It's a gorgeous family. But on the inside, she's struggling.
Yeah.
Right? But she doesn't have the means right now to do anything different because he's taking care of everything financially, so she can't just leave.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you sitting here begging and wishing for this woman life. begging for that type of man. You don't even know what you asking for.
Exactly.
You asking for that type of man, and that type of man comes into your life, and now you're experiencing exactly what your friend is experiencing because that's what you asked for.
Right.
You want to make sure you asking for the right things.
Exactly.
And that's why it's good to do it for yourself and not based on what you see, because you don't see everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on behind the doors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So is the grass greener on the other side?
I think
absolutely not.
I think the answer is no.
Absolutely not.
How do we know when we're doing too much, Lynee, as women? How do we know when we're doing just a little bit,
too much?
Us women doing too much. No,
right. What are you talking about?
happen.
I can't relate.
Yeah.
I'm relatable. Oh.
Yeah.
I think being inconsiderate.
Okay.
Like being inconsiderate. Like leaning, some things you can't lean on your partner all the time. Like there are some things that you're just going to have to do yourself.
Yeah.
And because as a if you have the right partner, they're going to want to help you. They're going to want to be supportive, but they can't do everything. They just can't do everything. Like, can you do everything? You can't do everything.
Right.
So you need to give them that same grace to know, like, okay, maybe I'm actually doing too much. Maybe I'm asking over
too much.
Yeah, like maybe I need to chill and take a step back and kind of figure it out on my own, or maybe talk to them about it later. Maybe today is just not the day to dump more on their plate, especially when you know the type of job they do, the type of like assignments they got to get done, and you know that they would drop everything to do it for you. Like that's also taking advantage of people.
Exactly.
Like don't take advantage of your partner either.
Yeah, agreed. And to your point, timing is really important when you need something from your partner, or you would like something from your partner. Like you said, after a long day, if you know it's already been a long day, like maybe don't add that extra thing. Maybe wait till the next day to bring it up and discuss it.
Right.
What about like when our emotions are triggered by something, or something a story we've told ourselves, maybe created in our minds about something?
Like, what do you mean? Like, give me an example.
Let me think. Okay. Your man maybe says hi and smiles at a woman, and you may think because of that he's interested in her in some way, and maybe you bring it to him. That's like kind of extreme.
Yeah, that's like super insecure.
But some people are like that.
Yeah.
Right? And they bring it and they say, so you had to say hi that way, or you're smiling a little bit too much, or
Christine, I can't relate. I'm right in that headspace now, girl. I don't, that's too insecure. I know people
do that.
Experience that. I do know, but I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me think. What about if it's a Friday night and you want to hang out with your man, but he decides he wants to hang out with his friends? And some people tell themselves, well, he must prioritize them
over me
because I wanted to hang out, right? So just stories that people tell themselves, but they're telling themselves and they're reacting to it.
Right. All in the same time.
Edit. And they're projecting it out to the other person.
Yeah.
So how do you manage like just things we tell ourselves? That's irrational. It's really irrational thinking is what I'm describing.
I think this goes back to self-awareness and emotional intelligence. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta know that you're overreacting in certain instances. If that man been with you every day, and you know he been with you every day, y'all talking every day, y'all together every day, and he want to hang out with his friends and you get upset,
right?
It's not a healthy attachment. I'll tell you, that's not a healthy attachment. Because this is exactly how you get in relationships and you lose yourself. Because now you only want to be around that one person, and you not being with your friends, you ain't being with your family. You have no idea who you are anymore because your entire existence is wrapped around this one person.
That's codependency. Everybody.
Come on. You drop the gems and the definitions, okay?
Yeah.
Codependency, unhealthy attachment issues.
Absolutely.
You have to allow you as well as your partner to have outside activities. Everything can't be done together.
Right.
You still got to know who you are. And this is why a lot of times people get out of the relationship and they're like, what do I like to do? Where do
Who
I
am
like
I?
to go? Who
Right.
am I? Like,
Yeah.
you don't have a clue who you are because everything you were, you wrapped up in somebody else. And now they're no longer there.
Right.
So I think that you should just take a step back, allow him to go out with his friends, and you should probably go out with your friends or go spend time with your family.
Yeah. And I would recommend not even bringing things that could be irrational. Like once you get to that, being able to be self-aware, don't even open your mouth about it.
Yeah.
Just quiet. Talk to yourself about it. Write it down.
Yeah.
But don't bring it out to your partner.
Because now they
Yeah.
feel guilty. They definitely feel guilt tripped about going out with their friends moving forward.
Yeah.
Now you create this
all
place.
weird now.
Yeah, like now I can't even. Now he's
Yeah.
sneaking.
Right.
Now he's sneaking.
Yeah.
Talking about I gotta work late to go hang with his boys
Oh my
because you
gosh.
get
I
emotional.
saw it on his show. This guy was dating a lady and he was going to little league football games, like with his kids or something, but he didn't want her to go because she would be doing too much. I think the moms were there or something. I don't know. But he literally was just going to the football games and she would call between like 19, 20 times
What?
while he was gone. So they brought him on the show, went through his phone. It was determined that he was not cheating on her. And he was like, this is what I've been telling you and I'm leaving you because I'm tired.
Yeah, I bet. That's exhausting.
I can't do it anymore.
Girl, that's exhausting to just
Tiring,
want to
yeah.
spend time with your kids
Yeah.
and she get upset every
Right,
time you
that
leave and
happens.
she call you 19 to 20 times.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm leaving you. Absolutely, I'm leaving you.
It is a done deal.
After the second call, I would have dumped you right there on the
Yeah,
phone.
'cause what are we
Like,
doing?
why are we doing
Go do
all of
something
that?
else.
Insecure.
Completely.
Insecure.
Yeah.
Ma'am, go find you something to do.
Do
Go
it.
to the grocery store, go
Right.
shopping, go do stuff you
Do
want to
something.
do. Y'all got to
Right.
have outside hobbies outside of your partner. That cannot be your entire life.
Exactly.
You are a person with your own ideas, your own ways of doing things. Go do that.
Read a book.
Read a book.
Self-development.
Lord have mercy.
We'll talk about the 8 aspects of wellness at the end, give y'all something to do.
Right.
But there are
We gonna get y'all
things-
something to do.
Right. There are things that y'all could be working on. How to let go of false control.
Whew.
Because do we have control? over
No,
others?
we
Yeah.
have no control.
Yeah.
And I can only speak from, and I know everybody's not, spiritual, believe in God. So I understand that. I can only speak for my own self, and I am a firm believer in God,
Amen.
And so I know that He has the ultimate control.
Don't he have the last say?
Yes, He, every time, even when you think you got the last say, it was always God. It was always written. It was supposed to happen. You did
Right.
not change the narrative. You did not, predict the outcome.
Right.
It was always supposed to be just as that, whether it
Yeah.
was good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. And so, like, giving up control for me, hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
Because you can't.
You-
You can't control it.
You
or anyone
can't.
else.
And you gotta the acceptance part of that is
Right.
difficult.
Yeah.
It's like letting go and knowing that I have to just deal with whatever the outcome is and know that it's for the greater good of myself always. Anything is always working for my good no matter what.
Right.
And so that's what I be telling myself when I feel like, oh, I gotta do this or I gotta make sure that's done or whatever the case may be. It's like, but it ultimately is not up to me though. It's not. And that's tough.
Right.
That's tough because as humans, we want to control the narrative about everything if we
Exactly.
can, if we feel like we
if
can,
you
right?
think you can.
Thank you.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
like, it's hard. What about for you?
Yeah, I realized that I have control over my own choices and decisions, thoughts, relationship boundaries, but I cannot control anyone else. So if, the person you're with, the person I'm with, they decide to make decisions that are outside of our agreement in our relationship, that's completely
Off the
on them.
Yep.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's what you want to like the big booty pics.
Right. That's
Do
on
your
you.
thing, right?
But
the-
it comes with
the
consequences.
That's all.
Yeah,
right?
it
Do
comes
your
with
thing,
consequences.
right?
Because you don't get to disrespect me and think that nothing will come up.
That's what you don't get to do.
You know what I mean? Like,
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, control is tough. Especially, especially being the boss.
Yeah.
When so many people come to you for decisions and me and you talk about this. I think we may have talked about it on the last episode where we talk about being in charge, women in power. And always being a person who has to have the answer, or always being a person that people go to, or need you for something, or you just have things that you have to do to keep the business going,
Right.
regardless. So you have to make a lot of executive decisions. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally,
it's up to you to make the decision to make sure that these things get done. So sometimes we are put in positions we don't have no choice but to take control.
Right.
And I think that shifting that and remembering that a lot of it is still out of our control. If it was something that positive came from it, absolutely, but like I said, ultimately it was supposed to happen anyway.
Right.
It was going to happen regardless.
It was going to happen. So let me ask you this. This brings me to another question. So being a boss like you, so how do you, as a woman in a relationship with a man, like become vulnerable and like relinquish, I guess, some of that vibe, being feminine in a relationship? Is that hard?
Sitting in my
Femininity, yeah.
Yes.
There you go. How is that?
I think that it has to be shown to me that you are capable of being a leader. I would never relinquish any control. You ain't going to leave me in the darkness. Like, I'm not going into the darkness with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, if this person shows that they are a leader, they're able to take control, they have the ability to guide me, why not?
Yeah.
I've been making decisions all day. It's exactly what I want to do. I want to kick off my shoes and relax my feet.
Turn it off.
Okay?
Right.
I don't want to do none of this.
Yeah.
So, if you show me that you are capable, I don't have no problem sitting in my femininity.
Good.
However, if you don't, then you're going to get a masculine version of me every time. You know what I mean? Because she exists.
Right.
You
She's
know?
there.
Yeah, she's there.
Yeah.
And she going to show up however you show up.
Yeah. Ooh. I felt that.
You know what I mean? So that's the choice is honestly yours.
Right. And I think it's probably going to be a red flag if she has to even
present herself.
Like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, keep her tucked away.
Please keep her tucked away. She's so tired. She want to take a rest. Like, let that girl take a nap.
Yeah.
But if she can't, I'm not going to stop her, because that's signaling to me that something's not right.
Yeah.
If I got to be masculine, if I have to be someone who's making all the decisions, if I got to exude this like personality, to make sure I'm safe, because that's safety for me.
Right.
If she's showing up, that means I'm not safe.
You're not safe.
And that's something that I need to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can totally agree. And I like that you said if he demonstrates that he can lead, right? That you can sit in that femininity.
Absolutely.
It's a blessing. Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
One day. I'm going to keep saying it out loud one day.
You are there. It's happening. And I'm going to be there for it. It is happening. Let's see. I think that we have done a great job of answering these relationship questions.
Woo woo.
So what are we thinking for our 8 aspects of wellness? What are we thinking we want the good folks to work on?
I'm thinking physical.
Yeah. Why do you think that?
Yes, because me and Christine are going to the gym this weekend. See, we doing this with y'all. Exactly. Y'all not alone. Like, when we say we're going to work on things and we're going to do things, like, we're serious. So we're going to the gym this weekend. And Christine is a pro. Okay. She's true to this. I'm new to this. I don't be going to no gym.
We're doing
okay.
it together.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, we're gonna be together.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one thing that you can do if you want to. You can go to the gym. Of course, we won't be together, but at least we did do it together. We are committed to this. So we kind of did do it together.
Exactly. I love that. So absolutely work out, go to the gym. It could also be something as simple as just going for a walk around your neighborhood. Take a couple laps around the neighborhood. What are some other things people can do? I think walking is like a huge thing. Yeah. Or maybe doing some squats at home, maybe some chair squats, up and down, walking up the stairs if you have stairs. There are a lot of simple things that you can do. Google yoga.
Nice.
YouTube has a lot of good yoga exercise and classes. So, but get out there and do something physical and let us know what you did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. You guys, this is our second episode. We did so good. Yes. And so, like, we want you to tune in, okay? Elevation Podcast with myself, Lynee Monae. That's LYNEE_MONAE. You can find me on all social media platforms. That's exactly where I'll be, okay? Tune in. And Christine.
I'm Christine Gregory with Metalworks Behavioral Health, and we should be tagged somewhere in there. Don't know all the deets. I think it's _Metalworks. But yeah, follow Lynee. You'll see us.
Yes.
So thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Bye.